Hello, my name is David Webb and this is a video for Dweebovision. I am a Scrabble grandmaster and in this video I am going to play Scrabble while providing in-game commentary on my moves. Hopefully this will help to improve your game and be fun to watch. The game has just started, so let's join the action. It's my opponent to go first, and I'm close to a bingo. If my opponent plays an R, I have a guarantee. There may be other 8-letter words available. I can't see any 7-letter words with this rack. If I can't play a bingo, I should be able to score reasonably well and leave a balanced rack. Yug and Yuga are both good, and I know that bulk takes a Y, so I could play Yuga and bulky. But let me first consider the floaters in bulk to see if I have a bingo. Can't see anything through the B. Nothing through the U. The L, I can consider the LY ending, but I can't see anything there. And I can't see anything through the K. So what I'm looking at is Yuga, and the rack leave of ANT is pretty good, and that's 30 points. And that looks promising. I don't have a 7-letter bingo, so I'm just looking at the floaters on the board. Can't see anything through the B or the U or the L, which just leaves the A of Yuga. Well, what a shame. That looks more promising than it's turned out to be. Maybe my opponent will provide an additional floater, but I can't see anything through the floaters on the board. Yuga only takes an S at the end. Bulky doesn't take anything at either end. So there aren't a great deal of opportunities available on this rack. The C goes quite well with the K, so I should be able to score quite well. I'm just wondering what 8s this makes. I mean, with an I would have cleating, and possibly something else. Octangle would be good through an O. Well, maybe it's not such a great rack. There aren't a large number of possibilities jumping out at me. I've got the A, which plays underneath bulky, so I could play clag and bar and ugh, leaving myself with ENT, which would be a reasonable leave, and it wouldn't be providing too many opportunities for my opponent. My opponent spent a while on this move. He may be close to a bingo. I've got the AGE suffix, but I can't see any 8-letter words using the remaining tiles. So is clag my move? Well, there's the O, but not available for octangle, and the only floater provided by my opponent is an A, which was previously available, and I can't see a bingo through that. But what is promising is the triple word square at 08, and I note that I can play cogent. Let's see what that scores. That's 33 points. I certainly want to play off the G. What would be ideal would be to place the C on the double letter square at L8 and retain the L. Sorry, retain the E. But I can't see a play which puts the C in that spot. Now this isn't a great rack. I've got duplicate I, duplicate H, neither of which is a good tile to have duplicated. I've got the word hair, leaving H-I-L. So I should be able to play my way through this. Hylar is good as well, and I can play that at L1 for 26 points. It does open up column 1, but it sorts my rack out, and with no E's, S's or blanks, sorting my rack out is a priority. I do have a 25-point lead, but that is quite slender. And there are good floaters in cogent, so playing Hylar is not such a bad thing because it's taking an open board and making it more open. Atropia only takes an S at the end. I do need to consider the floaters in cogent in case I have an 8-letter bingo, but I don't think I do. The T is the most promising. But I can't see anything through that. Bulk was a really blocky opening move, because there are few words which end in B, U, L or K. And B only takes an A or an O in front. So we could end up with a tight board. My opponent has lost contact or quit. Often when this happens, he comes back immediately. That hasn't happened, so what I'm going to do is pause the video and resume when he returns or when the game is adjudicated in my favour. Welcome back. My opponent did not return. The game has been adjudicated in my favour. I'm now going to pause the video again and start a new game. Welcome back again. I have just opened a new game and I've got a Q with a U and I've got plenty of vowels, so this is looking hopeful. It's my opponent to go first. I've got QUAY, which takes a D and an S as a hook. That would leave an E and two O's, which isn't great. But the O is one of the vowels which doesn't go so well with the Q. And certainly playing off the U is a priority over resolving the duplicate O's. Right, well I can play QUAY at I2. Can I play it anywhere else? And I'm looking also to see if I can play a word through the M and reach a double word square, and I can't. Can't see anything through the A of Maho. Nothing through the H or the O, so I think key is best. And I now have a problem rack with 6 vowels. I do have the word cooey on my rack, which would leave a duplicate I, but it would play off 4 of the vowels. And it does play above maho with the C making the word K, which my opponent has now taken out. Zo takes an A and a D in front, which I don't have. Bay takes an E after it. I'm wondering if I should be changing. I'm looking at the Q, which takes an I underneath it to make chi, but I can't see... Well, I can only play OI at that point. 17 points. Actually, I'm inclined to do that, because the board is quite tight, and this doesn't make it noticeably more open. Yeah, I think 17 points is better than changing. Maybe not. Back to 6 vowels. I think I will be changing this time. There's nothing promising available. I'll wait and see what my opponent does, in case he opens up a great opportunity. I could play OE at I7, making Zoo and E for 18 points, but the problem with that is that it leaves double E and double I. So whereas on the previous move, if I'd had a decent pickup, I'd have had a decent rack. There is no pickup which goes well with double E, double I. And I can't see any words which play off more than 2 vowels. Yeah, I think I'll be changing and probably retaining just the E. The alternative would be to retain the C and the E. Well now, my opponent has provided the opportunity for me to play cooey. That's only 9 points, and it would leave me with E double I, so changing is better than that. And I've now got just the one vowel, which is the E that I kept from my previous rack. I've got the word Jerry on my rack. Onto, well, I was going to say that I could place my J where my opponent has put the G, but that spot has gone. So what else is available on this board? Go takes an E in front, but I do want to play off one of the R's. So I could play Jerry through the E of Gatto. 23 points. Is there anything better that I'm overlooking? Well, I've nearly got cajolery. but not quite. Actually, Jerry's not bad because it does retain the vowel. So CEL is not a bad leave. And that looks more promising. The trouble on this board is that I have very few floaters. Snooker, that's a nice play by my opponent. I don't have a 7-letter bingo. Nothing through the U of Gatto. And I'm not going to have anything through a vowel, so I am looking to play off just a few tiles and leave myself with a decent rack leave. I'm looking to see if I've got a word playable in column 1 beginning OS. Well, I've got ostial, 21 points, leaving ice. It would certainly be nicer to score a few more points than that. But I am now 130 points behind, and ostial does provide a couple of floaters, or 3 floaters rather. Itch Knight and Nietzsche. I'm not sure if either of those plays. Lecithin at 01. What else do I have? Can't see anything through the U of Gatto. I've got Ethician. Gosh, I'm not sure about that. It doesn't go anyway, but if there was an A available, it could play. Great, Lecithin is not blocked. Time for a heroic comeback. $92. Whopping, I think, is good. It doesn't play. I've got the up prefix, but up pouring isn't good. So I probably don't have a bingo unless my opponent provides a place for whopping. Well, that comeback was short-lived. Now I am 120 points behind. I could do with opening up the top of the board, otherwise my opponent will be quite happy to fill in the gaps in the lower half and cruise to a victory. But in opening up the top half of the board, I would like to score reasonably well. And I may not be able to open it up in one move. Certainly the whole key Maho Bez area is pretty obstructed. Nothing goes in front of Bay or Zoo. So I could play Wop across here, sorts out the duplicate P, the rack leave isn't bad. It doesn't open up the top half of the board. So I don't want to be in a hurry to play this if there is a better move that I've overlooked. Onto doesn't take anything afterwards. I'm wondering if there's a play onto the A of Gatto that I could play in column 11. Well, power is good. Power. Same 3 letters as before. And this does open the board up, although there's only the opportunity for, well, the only floater available is a P, and I haven't opened up any 7-letter bingo lanes. I have provided a hotspot at F10 in that triple letter square, so I expect either myself or my opponent will play there, and that will enable the top half of the board to be developed. And even if the top half doesn't develop, that is going to worry my opponent, and therefore he's going to leave the lower half of the board available. So power for 18 is okay. And I have dripping if that P stays available. Priding is also good, but it doesn't play. So if dripping is blocked, what am I going to do? It's not blocked. Wow. I was really expecting that to be blocked. I'm going to play it over to this side. I could have played it 1 square to the left, but I want to provide maximum opportunity to play a bingo in row D, and I'm quite happy for the triple word square at A15 to be taken, because that opens up the board. I'm currently 130 points behind. This will still leave me 70 points behind. And that isn't great. I have 5 high-scoring consonants at a time when I'm really looking for another bingo. But I should be able to score well off this. A8, if that stays available, I've got waved or waked. That will provide floaters. I'm just wondering if I've got anything through the G of dripping. Great. Not blocked. I might have struggled to find an alternative play. Waved is better than waked, I think, because the C and the K go well together, even though it's a 3-point score sacrifice. If I'd played waked, I would have had VCB, and that's not a good set of consonants. I don't think backends is good. Brackens would be through a floating R. I'm now 61 points behind, but it's my opponent on turn. I should be able to score well with this rack, or reasonably well with it. Can't see anything onto the G. So I'm probably looking towards the bottom of the board. There's 10 tiles left. There is still a blank unseen. Looking at the remaining tiles, well, they certainly have bingo potential. It's not a great set. If I could play back somewhere, which I can, at N7, I would be leaving myself with ENS, which is pretty good as a leave. There's only one N unseen. and ENS in any event is quite a decent leave. It's about 28 points for back. It places the K on the triple letter square. I note also that I could place the C at N6 above the H. I could play back at N4. Which means that I could play backens. I'm not going to, because I don't think it's good, but I'm wondering why I think it might be good. If that stays available, it will be a bad miss if it's good. Bad in the sense that it may well cost me the game, as opposed to simply affecting the spread. But back, if it's available at A4, is going to be a decent score. Over 40 points. Now I've got the bank prefix or suffix. It's easy to overlook bingos when you've got a lot of high-scoring consonants, but there are bingos which contain them. Now back has not been blocked. It's a shame I'm not sure about backens. But anyway, that's 43 points, so I'll be 50 points behind after this. There's 8 tiles in the bag, and I'll be drawing 4 of them. And I don't draw the blank. Do I have a bingo? The most promising tile is the A. Well, the A and the E of waved are both promising. I've got smidgen as a 7. Unfortunately, I've blocked it with back. If I hadn't played back, I'd have had smidgen and KIS, or smidgen with the S above the H of lecithin. I can't see a bingo through the A or the E. And there certainly isn't one through the W or the V of waved. I could play smidge at A15. That's only 36 points, which would take me to 380, and that's probably not going to be enough because I'll be 19 points behind, plus whatever my opponent scores now. And he could well be looking at a bingo now, looking at the tiles that are left and the floaters in waved. I think there's a good chance he has a bingo. Now, if backens had been good and I'd played it, there would be 1 tile in the bag. And I could be sitting with the blank on my rack. I'm still focusing on the A and the E of waved in case there's an 8-letter bingo that I've not found yet. I can't see one. I think smidge is my highest scoring move. I notice that EH takes an M in front, but I can't use that to my advantage because Bay and Zoo don't take anything. Right, my opponent's left 2 in the bag, and he's left all of the floaters in waved. So, having dismissed May, I could actually play May without obstructing any of my floaters and score 14 points. 358. I'd be 55 behind. My opponent has almost certainly got a bingo. So is May best? There are no bingo lanes at the bottom of the board. The only bingo lanes are through waved. I can't create any new bingo lanes. So I've got a choice of whether to play off just the M or whether to play off 2 tiles. And I guess the second tile would be the G. Well, I can't see any great spots for playing off the M and the G, and I can't see any better spots for playing just the M. Right, do I have something? Well, I don't think side wing is good. Wing side. Well, I don't think they are good. Devising is good though. And I've drawn 5 points from my opponent as a penalty. So I have devising, but I am expecting that to be blocked. If my opponent is attracted to the triple word square at A15, however, he will not be blocking devising. Okay, Volantes 472. That does wrap the game up. He's now got a 122 point lead. If I get a bingo now, I won't win. The only floater is the W. Side wing isn't good. No, I can't see a bingo through that. My opponent's got an L. He can play that, yeah, at B11 or at M2. So he's certainly going out. So I'm just looking to see where I can score. Well, it's quite a blocked board now. The game is lost, so I don't need to dwell on this. Sign 16 points. Almost certainly not best, but probably not far off the best score. My My opponent's probably looking for the best spot to play off his L. And that's fine. Click pass to end the game. And my opponent wins by 491 to 374, so a high scoring win for him. Let's see what I missed. Well, there was Acqui, but I don't think that's clearly better than Key. This was my awful 6th vowel rack when I played OE. Yeah, none of the moves there look better. And again, a whole bunch of weak moves. What's interesting, the top move there, C, is making Mac and Bay. That's that may have been worth playing, but it would have left me with 4 vowels. Jerry, nothing clearly better. And this was where I played Ostial. Yeah, other similar moves. Lecithin was the only bingo. Poor at L14. Well, that's playing parallel to Eurolites and it's blocking the bottom of the board. It's doing nothing to open the top of the board, so I don't think that's the best play. Dripping in 2 spots. Back at N4. Ah, now this is where I played Waved, and Waved scored 4 points fewer than Back, and it opened up the top of the board, so I think Waved is actually better. And this is the moment of truth. Was Backens good? No, it wasn't. Excellent. Goodness knows what I was confusing that with. And Back looks like it was best. Well, it's suggesting smidge at A15, but at this point the only way I was going to win was with a bingo, so undoubtedly May was better, but I note that I could have played Am and Me at N1 for 2 more points than May, so that would have been better. And there was nothing through the W, and well, I could have had Design for 27 points, but at this point it really didn't matter too much. So, an interesting game. I got hammered, which does happen, but you still get the opportunity to play a dozen or so racks, each of which presents an interesting challenge, so every game is fun in its own way. It's just more fun if you win. So I hope you enjoyed watching that game, and also the little bit of the previous one. So thank you for watching. My name is David Webb, and this has been a video for Dweebovision.